for some eggplant parmesan today. Went to the farmer's market, got some good eggplant. It's not as big as I'd like to, so I'm going to show you how to cook it a different way. A little bit different than I would normally just kind of slice it up. But anyway, let's get to the tomato sauce. Quick, easy tomato sauce. I'm going to cut these tomatoes right in half. And then I'm going to take the little core out by just kind of making a triangle at the center there. Get that out of there. Get it all the way. All right. Get that out of there. Set it aside. Do the same on the other side. Okay. Then we're going to quarter these up. Throw them onto the. I got a baking sheet here with some parchment paper. That way it'll help not stick to it, and then also it'll help me just pour it into my vessel that I'm going to cook it with here. So just bear with me while I get these tomatoes cut up quick. Shouldn't take too long. This is a good recipe to have when you're. I'm cooking this on during a midweek. Coming home, I want a good hearty meal, but also kind of on the lighter side. So that's where the eggplant comes in. All right, we're gonna get this thing going good. I'm basically gonna roast these tomatoes at about 400 degrees for a good 20 minutes or so. Just getting that core out of there. You don't want the core. You can see that it's got that dark hardness to it. You want the good fleshy part of the tomato. There's some good ripe tomatoes. This is a good time of year to show this because a lot of people are getting tomatoes from their neighbors. They're growing them in their gardens. Maybe grow them yourself. Farmers markets are going crazy right now. It's a good time to get a good tomato recipe going here. Burn up some of these. Now this sauce you can make ahead of time. You can make it. This pretty much should only take about 45 minutes to make altogether. So you can make an abundance of it. Have it ready for whenever you want it. Jar it up. And you'll have some salsa all year round. Or salsa. Some tomato sauce. And you can also make this as spicy as you want it. You can put whatever you want into it. I'm just going to do a simple one. I'm not going to put any meat in this. You could add some like Italian sausage in there. Turkey, chicken, ground up, season that up. That wouldn't be a bad idea. All right, I'm getting there. This is going to make a decent amount of sauce here. Nothing better than a fresh tomato sauce. Alright, so we got those. Then I got my garlic. Nice, easy way to roast garlic. Roasted garlic is amazing. I'm gonna do this a little bit on the quicker side. I'm just gonna chop off the end where the root is. Get that chopped off. And then since this is only gonna roast for about 20 minutes, normally I'd probably roast this either on a broil for 25-30 minutes or in an oven at 400 to about 40-45 minutes. I'm just going to cut this in half because I only want to use about half of it for this sauce, maybe. So I'm just going to lay that up, the cut side up. Well, let's get this more or less root off here. Get that where you got a nice and cleaned end. Both of these. Alright. Get that on there, just making it smaller. If you want to have these tomatoes, I would cook them for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm quartering them up and kind of spreading them out on this tray. And then they should cook a little bit faster. That's how I'm going to get this down to about 20-25 minutes. Then I'm going to take, and I already pre-washed these two, so there you go. I'm kind of just getting them all separated out. I'm going to take some olive oil. Definitely get olive oil on that garlic. Helps it from burn. Helps it taste good. Just get some all over that tomato. And this will be pretty much all the oil that I'm going to use for the sauce. And we're just going to kind of nicely toss them in it. Alright. Remember to keep your cut sides up on your garlic there. Alright. Now, wash my hands quick. I'm going to just stick these in the oven, 400 degrees, about 20 minutes. You're going to see them kind of wilt down a little bit. They're going to get a little saucy. All right. Into the oven they go, middle rack. 20 to 25 minutes. When that is done, we'll finish it off, and then we'll start doing the eggplant, because this will cook on the stove for about 25 minutes after we're done finishing it off. And then we'll have about 20-25 minutes to finish off the eggplant. All right. Welcome back. We are ready to take the tomatoes out of the oven. So they are pretty much ready, and the onions and the garlic. You can hear them sizzling in here. Ooh. The garlic smells really good. The tomatoes smell good. All right. Now we're just going to get these tomatoes, put them in this blender. This will help us get it going nice and easy. I'm leaving the skins on it because this blender is going to do all the work of grinding these up. Put those in there. We'll grab a spoon here, that might help a little bit. Remember, these are hot. And I don't care if I pile all my ingredients on top, just layer out the ingredients. I'm not caring about getting it all, because I'm going to end up cooking this on the stove top for a little bit. All right. Just want to make sure that they all get in there. Your blender doesn't have to be just all about using it for cocktails and drinks, frozen cocktails, whatever. It can be used for cooking. It actually comes in very handy. Alright, get all that in there. And this garlic, if you haven't seen this trick yet, is the easiest thing to do to take off after you boil it. I got some fresh basil here. A little basil plant growing right off of our windowsill. Always comes in handy. Grows back. It's probably not looking too great right now after I just plucked it. Just kind of doing a rough chop to kind of help the blender out a little bit. Alright, put that in there. I'm going to do a few cracks of salt on top. A little bit of pepper. A couple of shakes. About a tablespoon or so of oregano. This is just dried. I've got about 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, just to kind of take off that bite from the tomatoes, that dryness of it. And then I've got some crushed red peppers. I'm just using a couple of shakes on this, only to get just a little bit of spice to wake you up a little bit. Alright, so that's done. Now we got to get our garlic. I got my garlic. Remember, we cut it in half. Now I'm just going to take my knife, and I'm just going to squeeze it out. And look at them, just coming straight out of there. Nice and easy, peeled, ready to go. Now I'm just going to chop them up kind of just a little bit, just to help the blender out a little bit, because those tomatoes are going to go quick. Oh, that smells good. Nice roasted garlic. I might throw a little bit more in there. They smell so good. I might want to add those to make this an extra spicy, extra garlicky. Look at that. Still a little mash in there. They're so good. That doesn't take long at all, guys. And you can store these. Like, I'll store that one. I'll let it cool down. I'll store it in a container. Alright. Now I'll put the lid on. Sorry if this gets a little noisy. And nice and pure it down for a nice creamy sauce. Alright, now that should be good. I'm going to turn the pan on and I'm going to cook this in. So I'm going to saute up some onions a little bit. I'm going to throw a little bit of red wine in there. That way it'll help get cook that wine off first before I throw the sauce in there. Otherwise, I would suggest probably cooking the sauce down for a good half hour just to get that wine cooked down. Let me grab a spoon and see how well this is pureed. We could probably use one more little shake at it here. Doesn't take long, guys. That should be the end of that. All right, I'm going to bring you over to the stove over here. We're going to make sure that we can get these in there. All right. So now I'm just going to add just a tiny bit of olive oil, just enough to cook down some onions. You don't have to put onions in yours, but as you guys know, I like the onions, so I'm going to put a little bit in just to kind of make it my personal sauce. I'm just going to use about 2 teaspoons, 2 little spoons of, like 2 little cereal spoons, I suppose. Put that up just a little bit. You can hear them sizzling in there. You could add just a tiny touch of salt to those. It'll help them slick down a little bit easier. Just a tiny bit. And since this is going to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes anyway, I'm going to want to make sure I don't really need them to get too far done. I just want them to get just a little bit of translucent, just a tiny bit, because they're going to cook a bit. All right. Now we want to cook down our red wine, so we're just going to end up making sure that we just throw in, I'm going to put in about 1/3 of a cup of red wine. And the type that I have is some Shiraz. I like Shiraz. You could use a Cabernet. You could even use something like a Tempranillo. A Tempranillo's got a nice fruit flavor to it. So all I'm going to do is make sure just kind of cook this down. Just enough to get that wine out of there, that alcohol out of it. And you can kind of know when it's kind of cooked out, when it starts getting a little darker in color. All right, we're almost there. Smelling pretty good. That's the other thing. You can also know when it's done. You don't smell alcohol anymore when it's done cooking. You'll smell the fruitness out of the wine, and that's really what you want. This will give it a good backbone to it. Yeah, we're getting there. It's smelling pretty good. Getting that all cooked down. Yeah, see, we're looking really good. All right, now I'm going to turn this down to about a medium heat. I'm going to grab my sauce. And we are going to cook it. All right, get all that out of there. Get this stirred up. And then about 10 minutes, basically what I'm doing is I'm cooking this down just enough to try to get some of this moisture out of here from all the juices from the tomatoes. And so all I want to do is just kind of thicken it up a little bit, that's why it's going to take about 20-25 minutes on medium. You're going to want to make sure you stir it, or otherwise it's going to pop up and get all over everything. Your wife might not be happy with you then. So make sure you just kind of keep an eye on it. Stir it up. And just let it cook for a while. You can let this simmer for however thickness you want it. If you want it really thick for like a pizza sauce, I would cook it down for a good hour or so, just so it gets a good thicker base to it. I want it kind of a little bit thinner than a pizza sauce today. All right, so we're looking good there. We're gonna let this simmer down like I said, about 15-20 minutes. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna show you what I'm gonna do about these eggplants here. It's a pretty easy eggplant recipe. Get you tilted in there, right? All right. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna get this out of the way. So now for my eggplant. Normally what I would do is I would slice them just, in discs like this. But these are a little bit smaller. It's kind of an early part of the year to have an eggplant. Again, wash them. And then I'm just going to cut the ends off. Since these are like a little bit thinner, smaller eggplant, they don't have a thick rind on them. It is okay to eat the rind of an eggplant. You don't have to trim it off. If it got to be a thicker one, I would, only because I would. They'd be pretty heavy. So all I'm doing is I'm making slices about a 1/2 inch thick. And I would do that if I disced them up if they were a bigger eggplant. And then I'm just gonna kind of take that back one off just because. And then we got that going. All right. We got 3 of us here today, so we're gonna make sure we do 3 eggplants. Like I said, they're pretty small. And I'm not going to fry up my eggplants. I don't like them that way. I think they get soggy. You can if that's what you want to do. I'm just going to throw them on the grill and just cook them down just a little bit with a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's all I'll need for this. All right, let me grab another tray here. So I'm going to spread these out. Alright, so the easy trick to these, grab yourself a little bit of olive oil cooking spray and just give them a nice little dusting. And the only reason why I'm doing this, one, they won't stick to the grill. The other part, so my salt and pepper sticks to it. Just a little bit, just enough to add a little flavor to it. You could add some garlic to this, but I think we've added a bunch to the sauce, so I'm not going to overdo it with the eggplant. All right, flipping them over, doing the same thing on the other side. Alright, there we go. And that's all we're going to do, guys. And then we're just going to grill it up. I'm going to wait about 10 minutes because these are only going to take about 15 minutes per side. So, or 15 minutes total, so about 7-8 minutes. So I'm going to wait about 5 minutes before I put these on the grill. Clean all this up, and then... Alright, so we're out on the grill. I just put it on the gas grill out here. I got this thing loaded up. All I'm looking for is to make them look like this. That's it. Just get some nice grill marks on it. Now they're going to soften up a little bit. Like I said, I don't want them too soft. I don't like my eggplant very soft and mushy. I'm going to have the sauce to help with that. Alright. They've been on here for about 5 to 7 minutes. And we'll let them cook for about 5 to 7 more minutes. Just trying to get some of that moisture out of them. Alright. Alright everybody, we are back. The eggplant are nice and grilled up. They're pretty hot right now. See, all I got are these nice grill marks on here. That's what you're looking for. Not getting them too soft. I mean, they still got a little bit of life left in them yet. Alright, now for the sauce. I let this simmer down for a good 20 minutes. Now this is all going to depend on what type of tomatoes you got. I used just a regular old big boy tomato, fresh from the farmer's market. They were a little bit juicy, so it took a little bit longer to cook down. So that's going to depend on how thick you want it, how much juice they are holding in themselves, and then that's it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a little bit of sauce, just kind of put them over the top, and I'm just going to keep doing this. I don't want to put them a whole lot, mainly because I want to get them out of the pan. I don't want it real saucy. I don't want to leave the sauce burnt on the bottom of the pan. I just want to get them nice and just a nice coverage on them. And I can always add, which I most likely will do, because I like a good marinara sauce on these, good spaghetti sauce. So I would put down more sauce as I go. So then I've got some nice fresh mozzarella. And I've got some parmesan, and we're just going to keep doing this until we run out. Some of these little guys only really need about one. See, quick, easy dinner, guys. All right, now let's get our parmesan. And I've got my oven on right now on high for a broil. And I got my rack all the way up to the top. So all I really want to do is get this cheese pretty much melted onto it. And that's the reason why I didn't put a whole lot of tomato sauce on there, because I don't want it to like burn on top of it. That broil will really do a number on this pan. Alright, might as well put the rest on there. Alright, now into the oven. We're going to go in, just kind of check on them every couple minutes here until the cheese is melted. Alright, and when they are ready, I'll pull them out. We'll have a bite of them and show you how it's done. Alright everybody, we are back. These eggplants got a nice little golden brownness to them that came from the parmesan. I am going to take a little bit more of this sauce. I reheated it back up while that was cooking. I'm just going to layer some sauce down and get some on the underside there. Grab a nice spatula. Get in there and get a nice big one out of there. Alright. Take a nice bite. Out of the middle with all this cheese. Look at that, huh? Nothing better. Oh, that's really good. That doesn't have that oily greasiness from it from the fried eggplant. Nice and grilled. We've got a nice fresh marinara sauce, like spaghetti sauce type. We got a nice garlicky flavor from it. That basil, fresh basil came out. Everything in this is pretty much fresh except for the oregano that I put in there, and then the salt and pepper. But everything else was fresh from the garden. Like, pretty good deal right here, guys. Oh, this is good. I gotta get one more bite. Oh, that's good, guys. Give it a shot. You can't go wrong.